Hello, my lovely natsukis. It's your bestie Summer, and I have a new fic for you guys. As you can tell by the title, it's an amazing one-shot, and I read it for Valentine's. And I know I'm a bit late on the whole Valentine's thing, but it's still February, you guys. It's still February. And I had to read this. I had to get permission. It was amazing. But anyway, any warnings will be in the description as always. And without further ado, but you're here, and so I love you. A Sally Face podfic, written by Clownwebs, read by Summer Audio. Enjoy! Travis isn't sure if Sal Fisher likes him back. His crush on Sal had constantly been a negative force in his life, with worries about God and his father and the church and all. He thought it was hatred, and maybe it was, at first. But just the sight of that pretty blue hair made him nauseous, and he knew he shouldn't be feeling like that about a boy. Now, though, Travis's father isn't in the picture. He doesn't have to go to church, and he's slowly becoming less and less afraid of God. It scares him to say he's lost his religion, so he settles for that phrasing for now. However, with the loss of that fear, the constant sickening feeling of doing something wrong, he's discovered a whole new side of having a crush on someone. He didn't even know that he could feel this. He wasn't unfamiliar with staring and yearning, but it was clouded with so much fear before that he couldn't quite identify all the other parts of it. Now he has to worry about whether or not Sal likes him back. He has to feel jealous when Ashley walks into the room. He has to get butterflies when Sal stands close to him, and he has to be genuinely sad when Sal isn't around. He's never known feelings like this. He wonders, sometimes, if this is how it's supposed to feel. Travis's presence is slowly becoming more accepted in Sally's friend group, but he's still rarely there if Sal isn't. They know his situation and all, but there's still tension. Travis doesn't blame them for the awkwardness. Sal often says that he's better now, but Travis knows that he was never very nice to them. But either way, he's improving, and the gang is finally accepting his presence. It hasn't been an immediate change, but there's no doubt that Sal has been rather convincing, and Travis finally has a group of friends his age he can feel safe with. Apartment 402 is no longer his sole safe haven. So today, Travis and Sal and the gang are gathered at Wendigo Lake to do something. Travis didn't really catch what their plans actually were, but Sal invited him, and he knows he wouldn't be able to say no to Sal if he tried. He slots himself into the group's interaction rather well, if he does say so himself, and he's surprised to find that he feels comfortable talking to them while they wander or crouch to sift through the pebbles at the bay. At some point, Sal announces that he's going to the Sinclairs across the street to grab something for the gang. He takes requests from each person, but stops to talk to Travis specifically because Travis hasn't quite learned how to jump into group conversations like that yet. They have what Travis thinks is a normal conversation, but he must be wrong because when Sal leaves, he turns around, the rest of the gang is looking at him like they just watched him walk into a glass door. Twice. "Dude," Ashley says. Larry rubs his hand over his face with an uncharacteristic amount of exasperation. "What?" he says, somewhat defensive. It's almost as if they can't hear him, though. "It feels like morally wrong not to do something about this," Ashley says to the open air. "What are we talking about?" "Right?" Todd says. "Dude, he's gotta be autistic. No neurotypical person misses stuff like that." Larry looks like he wanted to melt into the floor. I think he might be stupid. I think he might actually genuinely be stupid. I'm still here." "Oh, not you, Travis," Ashley says, waving her hand dismissively. Do I get to know what you're talking about, though? Ashley opens her mouth to answer, but Larry doesn't let her get a single word out. Travis, you have a giant crush on Sal, and he has no idea. It's like he's completely blind. Travis blinks, and his expression turns sour, despite the blush on his ears. I do not have a crush on him! He spits, but he's sure his voice wavers, because what the hell? This isn't what he signed up for when he said he would hang out with Sal's friends. He's gay, sure, whatever, they can know that. But this? No matter how much he's improved on himself, no one was supposed to know about this. Don't bullshit us, Larry tries to say, but Ashley smacks him across the back of the head before he can continue. Travis, it's like really obvious, Todd says, much nicer than Larry was bound to be. It still makes Travis nauseous. Like Neil and I weren't even that obvious. And we were obvious. We're just friends, Travis says, then bites his cheek hard because he knows that wasn't the best thing to say. But what else was there? One wrong move, and he might as well be calling them all F-words again. Either that, or reserving himself a spot in hell that he barely believes in anymore. That's the problem, Todd says. Travis glances at Larry, and he's half certain that Larry looks like he's about to explode. Listen, Trav, Ashley chimes in, and it makes Travis's skin crawl slightly when he calls him that, because that's what Sal calls him. I think that you're gonna think that this is gonna sound crazy, but you have to tell Sal about it. Seriously. Are you kidding? Travis almost feels like he's going crazy. Ashley, why would I ever do that? Can't say, sworn to secrecy, she says. We all were, Todd adds. Travis is starting to think that hanging out with Sal's friends was a mistake, and for none of the reasons he was expecting. Valentine's Day is next Friday. The gang will not leave Travis alone about it. Really, he doesn't need their encouragement to ponder what possibilities might come true over the coming week. He really, truly feels like he's about to melt every time Sal is around him. So the press for romance is doing nothing but fueling it. The gang is giving themselves more credit than they're owed in that department. Either way, though, Travis is dreading it. Or maybe he's excited? He can never really tell these days, especially when it comes to Sal. Anyway, after hours of sitting and stressing over nothing, he settles for writing a letter. He's done it before. He's done it plenty of times before. It's more nerve-wracking now because there's this stupid friendship with Sal in the way, but he knows how to do it. He knows how to write, and he knows how to seal an envelope, and he knows how to avoid Sal for hours after slipping the letter into his locker. So that's exactly what he does. He drafts for the whole week before Friday, and before he knows it, he just has to settle for one of the few that he didn't crumble up or throw away with the first few words. It's a little bit wrinkly once he gets it into the envelope, and he's sure that shoving it into his backpack didn't straighten it out at all, but he's so nervous about the whole thing that he can barely even focus on it. On their walk to school, Sal comments on how his hands are shaking and he seems off, but Travis blames it on the weather or having a headache and tries his hardest to act normal. For the first time ever, and probably the last, Miss Packerton is his saving grace, because she just so conveniently needs help with something after school. She specifically calls on Travis to stay, and to hide his relief, he sends his best fake disappointed look at Sal. He'll sneak the letter into Sal's locker later that day, and then he won't have to see him until later. The hallways are entirely empty by the time Travis is dismissed, and the weight of his decision finally hits him. He can't believe he actually put that stupid letter in Sal's locker. Why did he do that? What good could possibly come out of that? Who was he kidding? There was no way Sal's okay with this. Oh God, now Sal isn't gonna want to hang out with him anymore. All because he got caught up in Valentine's Day and got ahead of himself. Damn it, he wasn't built for this stuff. The whole walk home is terrifying. Part of him knows that he must be overthinking it, but the rest of him can't stop picturing being kicked out. Sal isn't going to let him stay anymore, obviously, and surely none of the gang will want to keep him either. He started to feel like a stupid lost dog again, and nothing even happened yet. He can nearly feel his eyes stinging again just from the thought of it. Eventually, he makes it back to Addison Apartments. It truly takes everything in him not to turn on his heel and run away again. Sal isn't quite sure how long he's been sitting outside his apartment. The last thing he expected today was that letter in his locker. It startled him when it fell into his hands, but he calmed down when he realized what it was, until he recognized the handwriting on the back of the envelope. His first thought was that he must be going crazy, or someone must be messing with him. He's not stupid. He knows that a letter on Valentine's Day is most certainly a love confession. But there's no way that it's actually from Travis. That would be ridiculous. Travis doesn't like him back. Sal doesn't know. But anyway, he asked Larry if he had seen anyone slip anything into his locker, and immediately Larry started acting weird. Not bad weird, not really, but there was something he wasn't saying, and it annoyed Sal to no end. He grilled Larry for answers the whole way back home, and he knew he wasn't going to get any when Larry kept deflecting to the newest Sanity Falls album. He didn't open the letter until he got home. The moment he finished reading it, he regretted not waiting for Travis after school. Sal didn't really know what to do. No one's ever had a crush on him before, especially not people he already likes. What is he supposed to do? What is he supposed to say? Hey, Travis, I know you've only been staying at my house because your dad is crazy and you have no other option, but I've actually been in love with you the entire time. Let's kiss now? No, this is ridiculous. He has no idea what to do. So after pacing and overthinking and worrying Gizmo more than necessary for something like this, he decided to sit outside his apartment and wait for Travis to get home. Surely Mrs. Packerton won't keep him too late. Really, he's not any calmer sitting on the yellow-stained carpet of the hallway than he was fidgeting around in his room. He can barely identify how he's feeling. He's surprised and a little scared and incredibly relieved because, holy shit, Travis really does like him back. After what feels like days, but he sure must have been barely an hour, the elevator finally dings and Travis steps out. "Trav!" Sal calls, pushing off of the wall to go greet him. He ignores how bad his own hands are shaking. "You're back! Man, I know she needed help and all, but I don't think Mrs. Packerton should be allowed to keep you that long. But anyways, I got that letter you wrote, and holy shit, man, you look like you're about to faint. Travis? Trav?" When Travis comes to, he settles on Sal's couch, Gizmo nuzzling against his hand. His head hurts a bit, and he's still a little dazed, but other than that, everything's fine. Gizmo leaps up to sit beside him. There's noise in the kitchen, but he doesn't lift his head up to see who it is, because he knows that this is Sal's house, and he's safe. He's in Sal's apartment, on Sal's couch, with Sal's cat curled up next to him, and everything is okay. That is, until his sight finally clears and he spots that wretched note on Sal's TV stand. Oh man, he really messed up, didn't he? He can hardly say he's the most scared he's ever been. The way his stomach drops is not at all reminiscent of the crushing, sickening fear that would take hold of him on the way back to his father's house. It's not like the feeling he would get while he watched his father preach. It's not like when his father would be a little quieter than normal when he got home, and Travis knew it meant he did something wrong, even if he'll never find out what that something is. It's not like any of that. However, it's a new kind of fear, and that itself is scary enough. He doesn't realize he's closed his eyes again until he hears someone walking over and crouch beside the couch. Then feels a gentle hand brush his hair away from his face. Truthfully, it almost makes him want to cry, because he knows it's Sal, and Sal has always been so kind, and now Travis is almost certain he's thrown it all away with that stupid letter. "I know you're awake," Sal whispers. "Man, you had me stressed. Are you feeling all right?" "No." Travis nods his head. "Good. Here, you should have some water. And something to eat, too, if you're feeling up for it." Travis wants to keep his eyes closed forever, because then he can pretend that nothing is wrong at all. But still, he opens his eyes and lets Sal sit him upright. He tries his hardest not to glare at the letter sitting across in the room. The glass of water that Sal pressed to his hand is cold, and it soothes the dryness of his throat that he hadn't even noticed before. He can't really hide how his hands are shaking like crazy, so he just tries his hardest to appear calm otherwise, even though Sal can tell it's not true. Sal's always been able to see through things like that. "What was that all about?" he asks. Sal's voice is just as soothing as the water. "Not to pressure you or anything, but you promised you would tell me when something was wrong." Travis can't help himself. He glances at the letter and he immediately regrets it because he knew Sal would follow his gaze. And now, Travis has been caught red-handed in two things he didn't want Sal to know about. The letter? Travis feels like he might be sick. Sal tilts his head like he's trying to make a sense of the situation until a realization finally hits him and he grabs Travis's hand. Travis nearly pulls away. He swallows hard and reminds himself that he doesn't have to. "Trav, man, I'm not angry about it," Sal breathes, and there's a confusing hint of anxiety in his tone, but Travis can't focus on it with how Sal is looking at him. "You're not in trouble. Actually, to be honest, I thought I was being way too obvious, and then I would be the one in trouble and you would be angry." Travis blinks. His voice is raspy when he mumbles out a weak, "What?" And he clears his throat. "What I meant to say, Trav, is that, I'm sorry, I haven't done this before," he says, tugging on one of his pigtails with his free hand. He still holds Travis's tight with his other. "I'm saying I like you too, Travis. Like, a lot." Travis feels like the floor just disappeared from under him. "What?" he breathes. Actually? Yeah, man, the gang actually noticed before I did." Travis's eyes are wide, and he doesn't know what to do other than look down at his hands, one of which is still in Sal's, which is not helping him calm down in the slightest. Still, though, he doesn't shy away. "Sal, I'm feeling so many emotions right now that I think I might be dying." Sal laughs, and like always, Travis feels like he could ascend with it. "Dear Sally Face, the last time I tried to write you a letter like this, it didn't work out very well. I was still living with my father, and I was always afraid, so I ended up scrapping it. I'm pretty sure you read it, but just in case you didn't figure it out, it was from me, and I did write it for you. Since then, a lot has changed. I didn't really want to be your friend at first, I guess, but once you started reaching out, I really couldn't stop thinking about you. I thought it was a constant before, but I was dead wrong. Sal, I didn't know what it was to hold someone so dear until I met you. I'm really happy to stay with you. I'm really happy about everything about you. Really. Even if I never got away from my father and whatever, I think I would still be a little happy just knowing you still exist somewhere. All this is to say that I guess I have a crush on you. If this were some dramatic love movie or whatever, maybe I would go as far as to say that I love you, but that still scares me right now. I mean, I don't even know how you'll respond to this in general, so I don't want to get too intense. I hope this doesn't creep you out or anything. I swear I still would have accepted your help even if I didn't like you like that, because you're important to me no matter what. Happy Valentine's Day, Travis. And that was the end of the one-shot entitled But You're Here, and So I Love You by clownwebs on ao3. I meant to get this out so much sooner, but I got really busy. I was almost at the end of recording, and then I got super busy with going into town and doing schoolwork, and my mom came back from her trip a few weeks ago, and so we're just now getting settled back into that, because she was gone for a month, yeah, so I got really busy for a little while there. Currently I'm home alone while the rest of my family is at a park, but so I figured I could finally record it. Yay, I have free time. But yeah, I really enjoyed this one. I really loved it. It was so sweet, so adorable. I'm happy I can get this out February, because I was really worried I wasn't going to be able to. And February is literally the month of love. How can I do that to you if I don't get it out February? But yeah, I hope you all enjoyed and have a wonderful day. Bye.